Somewhere along the way, it became cool to be a single mother. But for real, it's not. Having to deal with all the bullshit alone, bills, sick children, men seeing you nothing more than sex, it all gets old very quickly. When my husband and I were together, things weren't perfect, but it sure as hell wasn't the way it is right now. Anyway, my 9-year-old son and I are forced to move after the divorce. See, the judge told me and my husband, or my ex-husband, that we had to sell the house and split the proceeds. So with my portion of the proceeds, I bought a small 2-bedroom home. It was nice and cozy, and I loved the sound of the rain pattering on the tin roof. Everything was good until one night at 2 a.m. I wake up startled, looking around and see nothing. When I walk down the hallway, headed to the kitchen to get a glass of water, there were these 2 little girls standing at the end of the hallway. You know how those movies, they have those demonic looking twin girls? Well, they gave off that very same vibe. I stood there for a moment in complete shock, and then they just faded away. Now, I'm not sure how you would classify this as a Dogman encounter or a Dogman sighting, but nonetheless, to me, it was scary. And truthfully, I didn't know exactly what it was that I saw until I was listening to Tony Merkel's confessionals and heard Dog Waters on his podcast talking about the Dogman. The day that this all happened was my wife's birthday, and I wanted to pick her some sunflowers because this woman absolutely loves sunflowers. So I head out to the area around Ottawa Farms, go out into the fields, and it's beautiful. I'm standing there thinking, man, maybe I should have just brought her with me. When I start to hear this running sound in the distance. Understand, the sound is so far away, I'm thinking it's like a family with their kids just running through the sunflower fields, and I have absolutely nothing to worry about. So I ignore it, squatting down to pick some sunflowers. Imagine a scene. I'm kneeling down, pocket knife in my hand, cutting at the stem of this sunflower, when this creature lands on the ground like freaking Superman. Remember, in those Superman movies, how he would slam to the ground and dust would pop up all in the air? Well, that's exactly what happened. Dirt flies all up in my face, and I'm guessing that this thing didn't expect me to be there as much as I didn't expect it to be there, because it had this look of surprise on its face. Then it shows me its teeth, takes off running, and leaps again. Dude, listen to me, when I tell you this thing took off fast, jumped up into the air, and literally disappeared, and I'm not talking about like it jumped through some kind of portal. I mean, it jumped just that fast that my eyes couldn't track it. Now listen to me, ever since I heard that interview on the confessionals, I've been kind of keeping up with Dogman Encounters. And I've been hearing people say stuff like, I'ma fight the Dogman, I'ma kill the Dogman. But listen, the thing that I saw looked a lot like a huge spotted hyena with massive legs the size of my upper body. There is no way in hell I would ever try to fight that. And look, that Dogman must have had an appointment with some food somewhere else, because it seemed like it was in a rush, and I'm glad, because it landed less than 10 feet away from me. Had it decided to grab me by the back of the neck and jump off, that's exactly what it could have done. Grabbed me, snatched me up, jumped away, and I would have been gone. Now, when I get home with the sunflowers, I put them in a vase, kiss my wife, we're hugging, happy birthday, baby. I love you. She's so excited about them and grateful and thankful. That's when I explained to her, honey, I'm so glad you like these flowers, because a freaking monster almost smashed me to death while I was trying to pick them for you. Now she's bent over at the waist, laughing at me, calling me silly, but it was not a laughing matter. 10 feet. 10 feet in the wrong direction. It could have landed right on top of me. At the time this happened, I would say I was a bit of a normie. And what I mean by that is, I thought life was normal. You know, everything on this planet was regular. No monsters, no aliens, nothing. Maybe, just maybe, in some dark, deep corner of my mind, I probably knew there was some strange, weird things going on this planet. But my job and my family kept me preoccupied. It wasn't like I sat around worrying about monsters and werewolves and vampires. My Dogman encounter happened after I came home from hunting. And I want to be absolutely clear with you, I didn't even take a shot that day. In fact, that was the weirdest hunting trip I had ever been on. I spent hours in my tree stand and didn't see a single animal. Not a bird, not a deer, not a rabbit, not a squirrel, no hogs, nothing. And I've been going to this location for 10 years. It's basically my secret hunting spot. And over those 10 years, I've always been able to take something out of that location. Not seeing anything at all, I head home early and find my wife and 2 kids in the backyard playing. And I can't stress this enough. Things are normal until 5:45 a.m. the following morning. I'm up as usual, taking a leak. I come out of the bathroom and head down the hallway, passing our guest bedroom, and hear what sounds like someone tapping on the window. Very, very clear tapping. Understand, that bedroom is on the front side of our house, facing the street. And we live in a brand new subdivision. Only 8 houses have been built so far. I'm thinking, okay, maybe, just maybe, some fool is trying to break into the house because they realize we're vulnerable and we don't have a bunch of neighbors around. Imagine me tiptoeing, walking lightly into the bedroom, and when I get inside, I realize nobody's trying to come through the window, but there's this light tapping, almost as if you took a lead pencil and just began to tap on the glass. Allow me to pause here for a moment, because I'm trying to find the right word to accurately describe what came next. You see, nothing on this planet could have prepared me for what I saw when I grabbed the strings on that blind and pulled down. Because I see this creature. Its head so massive that it took up half of the window. These piercing yellow eyes with black pupils staring right at me. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever flinched? You know how it is when someone throws something at you and you're not expecting it to come your way. You raise your hands up in the air. Well, that's what happened to me. It scared me so much. I threw my hands up, fell back onto the bed, and as my body momentum is rolling back forward, now it's there smiling at me. Not grinning, but smiling at me. Almost as if it enjoyed scaring the hell out of me. Then that smile changes as its lips tighten up. This wrinkle starts to form around its snout, and it bares its teeth, growling at me. Again, I want you to remember, it's 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning. Now I'm rolling back over the bed, landing on my feet, running down the hallway to my bedroom, to the closet, punching in the code to my gun safe, grabbing my shotgun, and hauling ass back to the front of the house, only to see that it's no longer there. Listen to me when I tell you, for the next couple of days, I racked my brain about what the hell was going on, why it showed up, why it was tapping at that window. Then one morning, it all comes out over breakfast. My oldest son, who's 8 years old, is sitting there eating cereal. And I say, son, how did you sleep last night? And he says, Dad, I've been sleeping really, really good since we switched bedrooms. There's no more tapping on my window in the middle of the night. Now, understand, for me, that's when the real fear kicked in. Questions racing through my mind. Had this thing been at my house this entire time and I didn't even know about it? Did it follow me into the woods? Was that why there were no animals around? Now here's where I need your help, because I can't seem to figure this equation out. Because it took me a while to muster up the guts to go hunting again. But when I went back to my hunting spot, everything was normal. And since the morning it scared me like that, it hasn't been back since. What I'm trying to figure out is why. Why would it do something like this? What's the purpose of it all? Listen, I know people say Dogman is bad. And I guess in some cases it can be. But in my case, he was a savior. This happened when I was 19 years old on the outskirts of Jackson, Mississippi. I was living there and doing the wrong things. Ended up stealing money from a very, very dangerous man. It's 9:30 p.m. I'm headed home, walking through this alley, and out of the blue, they attacking me, hitting me, slamming me against the fence, punching, kicking, blood pouring out of my mouth. My lips burned as they swelled up. The only thing left to do was to curl up on the ground, trying to protect my head. That's when I hear this growl, and the beating stops. Looking up, I can barely see what looks like a giant black wolf on the other side of that fence. They take off running, and I black out. Hours later, I wake up, drag myself home, not sure exactly what the hell happened. But get this, 2 days later, I get a visit from the same dudes who beat my ass, asking me to call off my dog, saying that dog had been following them around. Look, to this day, I'm not sure why Dogman did this, but I'm glad it did. But a month later, I had to leave Jackson because word on the street was murder. They were going to kill me over $3,000. So I fled.